Today we are talking more about probability. When we were doing those experimental probabilities, that's when we were like tossing coins and things like that. Well, in experimental probability or empirical probability, where you do things by experiment, we have things that are different than theoretical probability. And I've got it in a chart here, so if you want to put this into your notes, you see we've got experimental probability and theoretical probability. In experimental probability, we call the things that we were doing trials. In theoretical, we call them outcomes. In either case, we call them events, the favorable one that we want. The things that we're going to work on today are found on page 41 in our textbook. So let's start taking some notes on these things. The first thing that you're going to note is that the probability in theoretical probability, the probability of an event is the number of ways that the outcomes divided by the sample space. Or the sample space is all of the possible outcomes that you may have. Theoretical probability is like what we were doing with the figuring out who's coming out the door from the gymnasium. The probability of a girl is the number of girls in high school. Now that's the girls in high school that aren't in our Algebra 2 divided by the number of high school not Algebra 2. Okay? And if you get that probability down, it's going to be a certain number. I don't know what it is. But we're supposed to compare it to 23. So if you do the cross multiplication and division, this would be the theoretical, this side is the theoretical probability. This side is the experimental probability. And more than likely, those two aren't going to be the exact same. Let's look at the example that they give us in biology, where you would have a certain number of genes. Here's the mother has a capital gene that's dominant and a recessive gene, and the father has a capital dominant gene and a recessive gene. Well, if the dominant gene appears, that's what's going to happen. So in all three of these cases, the dominant gene appears because you get it from either the father or the mother. The only case that you don't have it is in the recessive genes down here in the lower right-hand corner. In class tomorrow, we're going to go through these different traits, and we're going to find out how our class fares in those, and then you're going to have an assignment to find out how they fare amongst 20 people in the rest of the college. It won't take you too long to figure that part out. But we're going to talk about examples of theoretical probability. Let's look at some examples here in our textbook of theoretical probability. Page, let's see, which ones are we supposed to do here? Page 43, we're supposed to do some of these. For example, if you notice in this class, now this is different than ours, they show the different amounts. There's 31 people that don't take either math or science. There's 43 that take only math. There's 52 that take both, and there's 21 that take only science. So number 24, they want the number of students taking math or science or both. So it would be these three numbers added together. The probability of MS, math or science or both, is 43 plus 52 plus 21 divided by however many students there are in the class, and it tells us there's 147. So we're going to do something similar to that in our work for today, or for tomorrow. Let's look at the next one. Suppose you roll a numbered cube, find the theoretical probability of rolling a 5. Well, the sample space is 6, because you can have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. The favorable events is the event 5, right? And there's one way to get 5, and so our probability is 1 out of 6. Remember, for quality control, in probability, our probability is between 0 and 1, and it can be equal to 0, and it can be equal to 1. One of the places that we're going to encounter probability, theoretical probability, is in insurance, in weather, and in the lottery. And we're going to show some of those things tomorrow when we have class. We're going to go through some examples of each of those, and I'm going to show you how those things work. So, the other part of our assignment is to do the two-step examples, and I've got a worksheet that we're going to be doing tomorrow. But if you want to watch this video, well, actually you have to watch the video so you know how to do those problems when we get to them tomorrow. And then we will see you tomorrow.